First of all, thank you very much to Sasakawa Peace Foundation for inviting me here for the seminar. And I would also like to extend my appreciation to Mr. Hanyu and Mr. Matsunaga in particular, because they made this possible.
To project a new kind of international politics. Let me just add that, of course, this is a process. We are just at the beginning of some of these policies and ideas. We don't claim that we have completed the circle or we have perfected everything. This is a process, and we are trying our best to apply these principles to our policies in the issues that we face. But for example, and I think we have achieved a number of important success stories in the process. To give you a couple of examples. In Iraq, when we said no to American troops to use Turkish land to invade Iraq in 2003, there was a big discussion, even a shock, in Washington. I mean, how can Turkey say no to the U.S. For such a critical request? But our understanding at the time was that this war was not justified, it was not right, and it was not going to contribute to regional peace. Therefore, on the basis of an ethical principle as well as political calculation and strategic thinking, we said no. That made some people in Washington circles very uneasy, unhappy, no doubt. But even though we said no, we have been very, very active in Iraqi politics ever since then. Turkey has become one of the key players in Iraqi politics in the sense that we try to help different Iraqi groups come together, maintain Iraq's territorial unity and political stability. And I think our efforts there are very much appreciated by many of our friends and allies in the region. Another issue which resonates with Japanese foreign policy also is the increase in Turkey's aid to other countries. We have an institution called TİKA, which is like your JICA. It's the Turkish JICA, where TİKA makes a lot of aid contributions, technical aid, building roads and bringing water to towns and cities or villages and things like that. And in the past, that was a very small part of Turkey's foreign policy. 2 years ago, we gained the status of a donor country because we have been now contributing close to $1 billion a year in foreign aid to different countries. It's mostly in the form of technical aid. Now, this is also based on an ethical consideration, because those who are less fortunate need our support, and we try to extend our hand to them to the extent possible. So these ethical principles are definitely an important part of our foreign policy.
Instead of talking about Turkish diplomacy myself, I would like to raise a couple of questions in order to deepen our understanding of the Turkish diplomacy and politics in general.
Asset Turkey has beyond the borders of the Middle East or the Balkans, where Turkey doesn't have long-term historical relationship. Well, we are not advocating a nativist point of view. That is, we can be successful only in those areas where we have a historical relationship. There are universal principles, ethical principles, human rights, international law, and we believe when we apply them, we can have good partnership with people in Africa, in Latin America, in Asia. There is no contradiction. Having an historical experience, a shared history, shared geography, obviously helps a little bit more. You have a deeper understanding of, for example, the psychology of the people. When we, for example, started the process of normalization between Bosnia and Serbia, we have our friend here, it was a difficult task. And we don't think that it's completed yet. It's still going on. But I think we have taken a very important step there. And the reason why, largely, we have been successful in bringing these two communities together to the extent it was possible was because we understand the Bosnian sensibilities much more than any other country. We feel like, we are part of the same psychological world, same spiritual environment. And we understand their feelings, their sensitivities. Therefore, when we make a proposal, we do not betray anyone. We do not leave out anything. We consult with them, but also with the Serbian side, because we have shared that geography and history for so long together. Or in Iraq, Kim talked about, talking to tribal leaders, NGOs, business communities. It's the same thing. Turkey as a gateway to the Middle East for Europe, is that really appreciated in Europe? That's a good question. Let me put it this way. When a difficult situation arises and Turkey's help is needed, and we step in and we help, we resolve the situation, then everybody is happy. But when it comes to acknowledging Turkey's contribution, suddenly what Turkey has done is either forgotten or simply mentioned, oh yeah, they did something. But in reality, that behind the closed doors, you have really done the work. Let me put it this way: most of European countries are individually involved in Middle Eastern affairs. In Lebanon, in Palestine, in Iraq, in Syria, etc. No one criticizes European countries for involving themselves in these issues. But when Turkey does it, when Turkey gets involved with a positive agenda, suddenly you get a criticism that, oh, you're shifting your axis, you're turning east. When we contribute to the NATO mission in Afghanistan, no one says that, oh, you've gone too far on the east. What are you doing in Afghanistan? What are we doing in Afghanistan is that we are building roads for Afghan people. We are building schools, hospitals. That's very much appreciated. And we are cooperating with Japan, especially in the training of Afghan security forces. And it's a wonderful partnership. And it's appreciated by everyone. But when it comes to, does that count as a positive asset for Turkey's EU membership, then suddenly the whole discourse changes. I think there's a double standard there. And finally, regarding the axis shift, is there an axis shift domestically in domestic Turkish politics? That concerns political developments within Turkey. Ever since AK Party came to power, there has been this debate, this suspicion that AK Party, coming from a so-called Islamist or Islamic background, will one day turn Turkey into a Sharia state, an Islamic state. They maintain their hidden agenda. When they have the chance, they will turn Turkey into a theocratic state. There is nothing, no evidence to prove this allegation. Not a single legislation, not a single law that has been passed over the last 8 years can justify this claim. As Turkey becomes more transparent, these different identities also become more visible. And it's only natural. It was almost a taboo to define yourself as a Kurd, for example, 10, 15 years ago in Turkey, or as an Alevi, or as a non-Muslim, as a Christian, Jewish, Armenian, etc. That was wrong. Now people are very free to come out in public and say, I am so-and-so. And there is nothing wrong with that. Of course, the same principle applies to those who hold religious values and conservative principles in their lives. So it's an equal process of democratization for everyone. In fact, I mentioned very briefly in my presentation that writing a new constitution is a major agenda item in Turkey, and hopefully, we will address some of these issues in the new constitution after the elections in the upcoming month of June 12th. And after that, hopefully, some of these principles will be enshrined in our new constitution.
そろそろお時間も過ぎましたので、まだご質問があるとは思いますが、非常に申し訳ございませんが、本日はこの辺りで終了させていただきたいと思います。イブラヒム・カルン博士に盛大な拍手をお願い申し上げます。